Hi everyone. I thought I would just make a quick video on the Ethereum versus Bitcoin valuation. I've been thinking about making this video for a decent amount of time, ever since the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation risk metric that I've programmed hit around 0.12. So just to give some overview, if you've been in crypto for a while now, you know that Bitcoin's pretty much been outperforming the entirety of the asset class for the past 3 years, since around November 2022. And now that Bitcoin dominance has pretty much, I don't want to say topped out, but I think it's becoming more risky to be in, not to be in Bitcoin necessarily, but to maybe be diversified into other altcoins. And I think Ethereum is one of those altcoin blue chips that you should look into. And so let me start by prefacing that the Ethereum Bitcoin risk metric that I've programmed here accounts for diminishing returns. So if you're taking the price logarithmically, you can see that the more volatile price action happens at the beginning of its valuation. If you look at the Ethereum Bitcoin pair, you can kind of see it hovered around this area, and then it kind of shot up for a while, and then we can see that it kind of consolidated around this ratio of around 0.17. And interestingly enough, we can see that it's sort of come back down to these levels here in this range. And I think if you look at the Ethereum USD valuation, you can sort of see, let's bring on the logarithmic regression band here. That this is actually a free one on TradingView. So you can sort of see that even though Ethereum has been relatively underperforming Bitcoin, if you look at the top in 2022, it never really reached that level before. We didn't even see an all-time high for Ethereum this cycle. And during the 2022 bear market, you can see Ethereum didn't really go into this lower logarithmic regression band until now. And so I think that's a good inflection point to notice. So let me show you the Ethereum risk metric here. As you can see, this isn't the best top indicator, but it essentially shows you a good time to buy, a good time to sell. So if you look at the 0.0 to 0.1 risk level, let's just bring on these ones as well. You can sort of see that we're kind of going into that 0.2 level. And that historically has shown that it's been a decent time to buy, but I don't think this is a good valuation on when to necessarily accumulate Ethereum. I think a better way to look at it is to see the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation. And the reason for that is because if you value your portfolio in Satoshis, then you're not going to be buying Ethereum when you could buy Bitcoin, and that essentially outperformed the entire market for the past 3 years. If you bought Ethereum back here, you wouldn't be nearly as up in profit as you would be if you bought Bitcoin instead. So yeah, I do think a better way is to essentially convert your Bitcoin to Ethereum at these low risk levels, which we are at right now. And if you take the color out of it and you just show the actual risk metric itself, you can see that we've sort of never been this low before. And again, this metric takes into consideration diminishing returns and logarithmic regression. So you can sort of see that we've gone into that range that historically is shown to be a really good time to buy. So I think that the best way to go about this is to DCA in and out of the risk levels. So let's say you want to check out the Bitcoin risk level here, and we show that color coded by risk instead of just the level. You can sort of see what I mean. So when we go into these overvalued territories than 0.9 to 1 risk level, you can sort of see that. Let me go on to here. You can sort of see that sort of scaling out when it hits these higher levels is a really good play, just historically speaking. And then when you reach these lower levels from 0.2 to around 0, then it's historically a really good time to buy. And this risk metrica actually has a lot of different metrics consolidated into one, which I've been playing around with for over 4 months now. And I've finally gotten to a point where I say, okay, I kind of like this chart here. You can sort of see that once we hit that 0.6 to 0.7 level like we did back in 2019, we sort of saw this little sell-off here. And I think that's kind of what we saw back in here. No? So when Trump got into office, sort of, that's exactly when inauguration day, exactly when we topped out. This is the close price instead of the high price of 109. But yeah, you can essentially see, let me reset the zoom, that we were sort of overvalued here. We sort of came back down. We did the same thing over here. And I think, let's go back to Ethereum now though. I think you can sort of say that Ethereum has sort of really just bled against Bitcoin for the past 3 years. So I really think this is a good time to buy. And I don't think you should convert all your Bitcoin to Ethereum at once. I think you should try to reserve some of your Satoshi valuation, as well as have a USD situation going on. But I do think it's a good time to buy Ethereum right now. Well, I think that's enough for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in another video. If you like this content, then make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more.